Good morning, my name's Mark from Microsoft, and we're going to start a round of Excel tips and tricks. Today with me I have Jackie from LGIT Training. Just to give you some background, Jackie helped us out on our last Excel World Champs or Excel Champs. Now we've got the new Excel Champs where we hopefully have a winner from South Africa to be the Excel World Champ. So Jackie, how are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. Good morning, goeiemorgen, kunjani sabona, bonjour, bonjour, guten tag, and hi everybody. Welcome to the Excel Champs. We can't wait to give you some tips and tricks.
Okay, so Jackie, this is not the English lesson.
Yes.
This is the Excel lesson. So thank you for all of those introductions. That's great to know you can say
Speak
hello
many languages.
in many languages. So Jackie, today, what are you going to show us in Excel?
Right, today we're going to give you a build up on going into pivot tables where we show you how to create a pivot table. What is a pivot, you might ask? Well, it's very important if you need to use Excel as a business intelligence tool.
So I was going to ask you what is a pivot table, but you've obviously just gone and told us it's a business intelligence tool. Correct. So why don't you just jump right into it and show us?
I shall do that.
Cool.
Okay, thank you.
And maybe as you go through it, just tell us what we're looking at.
I'll do that. Okay.
Thanks, Jax.
So what we have here is a really big spreadsheet in Excel, which has a lot of data. And if you actually go to the end of the spreadsheet, you will see that it has 6,572 rows. Now, there are a lot of southwest, so it's broken up into different cities. So what happens is you've got many Atlantics, many Midwests, many Southwests, many different types of city centers, central. So instead of now having to insert a subtotal where you're still seeing 300 lines per item, you want to consolidate your data. So often you need this in any big corporate environment. There are two things that are really required, VLOOKUPs and pivot tables. So now we're concentrating on the pivot table, which is first thing, you sum up all the values. So it gives you one of each item. So on this worksheet that I've got here, I have various city centers. So I'm going to get one Atlantic. I'm going to get one January per Atlantic. I'm going to get one 2010. I'm going to get 1 week one. So it gives you one per item of everything that is on your pivot table.
So essentially, if I summarize that, having used pivot tables once or twice myself, it's a quick way of getting, like, let's say, a snapshot view of my entire 6,000 odd lines of data. Quick view, I want to see what's happening in the Mid-Atlantic, one line item.
Exactly.
What's happening in week 3, yes. One line item.
Exactly.
Perfect.
And what a pivot table does is it also filters. So you can say, show me only Atlantic for January. Show me only Midwest for February. And the word pivot means what? A ballerina pivots on one point. So you can switch your data around. So if you find that your city centers are going down by row, you can then say, show my city centers going across by a column when you're in a pivot table. It allows you to switch the way you're looking at your data. So there are two main things with the pivot table. It sums up, it consolidates all your values, and it allows you to switch your data around to give you a different view of how you're looking at the information.
Okay, so jump in and show us how we create my pivot table.
Right. So what happens is, make sure your cursor's clicked inside somewhere of the pivot. Please, children, it doesn't help if you are in a blank cell and it doesn't pick up the data. You do not have to highlight anything. Excel is fantastic. It automatically highlights all the values. So as long as your cursor is somewhere inside of the data, you then are inserting a pivot table. So you would go to the Insert tab. And on the Insert tab on the far left is a big fat button that smacks you in the teeth and says Pivot Table. So you click on Pivot Table, and it then picks up the range. It highlights the range from A1 to H6572, and it asks, where would you like the pivot table to be placed? My recommendation is always on a new worksheet. Because why, you might ask?
Why?
Okay, because pivot tables use a huge amount of memory, random access memory. So generally, the better option is to put it on a separate spreadsheet. Plus, you're using 6,572 rows here on this worksheet. You might have 30 columns, so where would you place it? So it's far easier to view it on a separate worksheet. Perfect. So that's why the default setting is on a new worksheet. And the minute you click on new worksheet, it opens up a new sheet with a little sample picture on the left-hand side, which is where you would then go and draw your pivot table. But you do it with something that we call pivot table fields. Now, what are fields? Those little names that you've got in that pivot table field area are actually all the column headings from your main worksheet.
So you basically can take that, like look at those different fields, see how you want to arrange the data, and then obviously slice and dice as you wish. Like
Absolutely.
Drag columns to where, so if I want to see weeks, I drag it into the one column. If I want to see city centers, I drag it into another column.
Exactly. And
Perfect.
how do you do that is you have 4 quadrants, 4 little blocks on the right-hand side, which allows you to take any of those fields, those column headings from the main worksheet, and put them where you'd like them to be. Now, the biggest problem we find is people don't know. What do I put into columns and what I put into rows? Well, I can't tell you what to put where, but I can tell you why you're doing it. When you want to see things going across, A, B, C, D, what is that?
I don't know.
They're
ABC?
columns.
Oh, okay.
So whatever you want to see going
I
across...
thought it was the alphabet.
No, what you want to see going across is by column. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, not counting, are rows.
Okay.
So whatever you want to see going down will be by row. Whatever you want to see going across will be by column. So we're going to take city centre and we're going to put it across by column, because on the main worksheet, it was going down by row. So we said we can pivot, we can switch the data around. So we're going to drag centre from there and let it go into the columns area. When you see a dark line, you let go. And immediately it builds on the left-hand side where your pivot sample was. And you'll see it gives you one of each item. So you don't have 356 rows for Atlantic. You have one, because that's what a pivot table does. It sums up all the values to give you one of each item from that main worksheet. And we're going to take year and make that go down by row. And you'll see you don't get 200 rows of 2009, you get one because you get one of each. Now, what is the most important thing to a pivot table? Is to be able to sum up all the values, to consolidate your data from the main
So revenue,
worksheet.
GP, quantity sold,
Correct, and I'm glad you mentioned
et
that,
cetera.
because you have an area called values. Now, the values area, as a default setting, would be basically any column from your main worksheet that has values in it. We'll take that for now, okay, as a standard basic pivot table. So we only have one field here that we can really use for values, and that would be your volume, the amount of items that they have sold. And the minute you drag it in, you'll see it says sum of volume, because the default setting for pivot tables is that it sums up all the values. To give you one of each.
But you can run total, so if you want to see how many, like total sales, total number of units returned, etc., etc.
Correct. So now if you look at your pivot table, you'll see you've got a lot of columns going across. Now imagine this. If you were running departments, you could have 100 of them going across, and you've only got 2 rows going down. It is far easier to read more data going down than it is going across. So ideally, you should rather switch your data around. Remember, this is a pivot. So it's simple. At the click of a button, you can switch the rows, your years to go into column area, and your city centers to go into row area. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag center and move it from the columns area and place it to underneath year. Now you can see I've got nothing in the columns area. That's what's awesome about pivots. You are not forced to do anything. Pivot tables are dynamic. What you do to one cell affects the entire pivot table. So now I've got 2 sets of row information going down, 2 fields. So I'm seeing the year and the city centre, which now puts them all in one column, because remember it's going down by rows, not going across by year. So I decide, no, I don't like that. I actually want to see my years going across. And see how quick and easy it is. It allows you to switch your data at the click of a button.
So that's 6,000 lines of data being consolidated in like less than a split second.
Correct.
Perfect.
And then I decide, okay, your boss comes to you and says, hold on, I want to see city centre per month. So how do I do that? Well, you've got a month field. So we're going to drag month to underneath centre, because you can have many fields going down or many fields going across. And it then gives you the standard Windows functionality of the minus sign. In other words, it gives you a subtotal for the city, because that was the first field, and then I'm seeing it per month. So if I want to now just see the city centres, what do you think I would be doing here? As you know, standard Windows functionality. What does a minus sign mean?
Collapse.
Right. So we take our cursor and place it onto the white.
And now I just see like a consolidated view for Atlantic.
Yes.
But if I wanted to see like every month for Atlantic, I'd hit the plus sign and it'll build out again.
The standard story. But you've got to look for the white arrow, not the black arrow. The black arrow selects the row rather than allows you to collapse it. Okay, so
there's the white arrow, collapse.
But can you see it only collapses the one field, the one city centre. Now, a lot of people don't know that you can actually collapse them all in one go Instead of going click, 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 click on every city centre,
So I'd imagine that's right click and click.
you could right click,
Or?
but I'll teach you the logic behind it. You're analysing your data, okay?
Yeah.
So you'll see when you're on your pivot table, you get a contextual tab, an extra tab that says pivot table tools.
Yeah.
And underneath on the left of it, it says analyze, because you're analysing your data.
Okay.
And on the very left-hand side of what is called a ribbon, you will see a minus sign that says collapse the entire field. So as long as your cursor is on the city centre, because that's the field you wish to collapse, you say collapse the field. And at one click, all of them are done, instead of you going click, 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 click.
Jackie, you know what? This has been exceptionally informative. As an Excel user for the last number of years, I find that every day I still learn something new. So even if it was just that collapse up in the ribbon, that I've actually got something out of this lesson. And I hope our users out there get something out of this. And hopefully within the Excel challenges for the Excel champs for South Africa, they get some insightful things that could help them with the time that is required for their relevant challenges. Jackie?
Thank you very much. And should you decide that you really need to know more about pivot tables, because this is barely scratching on the surface, book yourself in training with LGIT Smart Solutions.
Thank you very much, Jackie. Let's watch the next segment coming out in the next few days with Jackie again. Hopefully something else insightful, maybe some more English lessons.
Yes, definitely.
Thank you, Jackie.
Merci. Thank you.
Cheers. Bye.
Cheers. Bye, everybody.